If you want to learn how to draw this cute little seahorse, grab a pencil. I'm about to show you how. Step 1, draw the guide shapes. So we're going to start off by drawing 3 circles stacked on top of each other, all of them about the same size. Go back and draw a straight line right down the middle of all 3 of them. I'm drawing these in blue to make them easier to see, but you can just draw your guidelines with some very light pencil. Don't worry about them being perfect. These will be erased later on. Now let's add a rectangle to guide the shape of the snout. Make the rectangle on a bit of an angle so that the snout is not sticking straight out from his face. And then we'll go in and add a big circle for his eye, halfway above and halfway below that center line. Draw a second circle around the middle circle that we already drew. We're going to use this to see how far out his belly and his fins should go. Then starting right at the center of that center circle, we'll draw a wedge shape out towards the outer edge of the outer circle. And then just outside of that, we'll draw a larger wedge shape for his fin. Now we're going to go down to the bottom circle and draw a circle inside of it. You just want to make this one about the same distance inside the original circle as you used outside of the middle circle. I know it can feel like a lot of extra work putting these guide shapes in, especially when you just want to get started and draw the character. But I promise you that putting these guide shapes in place will really help your sketch later on, because you won't have to guess where all of the features go. You've already got it defined with your guide shapes. And the last part of our guide layer is to draw another small circle about the same size as the eye, right in the middle of that bottom circle. Step 2, the pencil sketch. Let's start the sketch on the top circle right above the seahorse's snout. I know we're moving along really quickly here, so when you need to, just pause the video to catch up. We'll go all the way around the top circle and then curve in as we come through the middle circle, and then come all the way around that smaller inside circle in the bottom circle. As we get about halfway up the bottom circle, we're going to start coming in and go around the right side of that smallest circle right in the middle. This is going to give us a nice spiral shaped tail for our seahorse. Now we'll draw a curved line starting just below the snout for the bottom of the seahorse's head. Then, starting in the middle of that curved line, we're going to come down around the left side on the outer middle circle. When we get to the very bottom of that circle, we'll curve the line around and make it meet up with the end of the tail. Now back up to the top circle, we're going to trace around that snout and kind of curve off the edges and make it flare out a little bit towards the end of the snout. Now let's start drawing over the wedge shapes that we put in the middle circle. We don't need to draw the tip on the left side of the fin, so just start at that center vertical guideline and go out to the right edge of that outer circle. Then you can draw 3 curved lines down the outside edge and erase the part of that body line that goes through the fin, so it looks like the fin is over top of the body. Then trace over the smaller wedge to make the ridge lines for his fin. Now we'll start adding some lines to make that big long fin from his head down his back. Then we'll go back up to the top and connect all of those lines with curves to make one long fin. Between each of those longer lines, we're just going to add 2 short lines to add a little bit more detail to the fin. Now we'll draw a curved line down the left side of that middle circle to make sort of a crescent moon shaped belly. We'll add some very slightly curved lines evenly spaced all the way down his tummy. Okay, let's finish our seahorse sketch by adding some detail to the eye. So your finished seahorse sketch should look something like this, and you can leave it here and just erase the guidelines if you want, but I like to do one more step to help the cartoon look more polished and jump off the page. Step 3, ink lines. If you're drawing by hand, you can just trace the ink directly over your sketch and then erase the pencil at the end. If you're drawing digitally, you can just create a new layer for the ink and then hide the sketch layers underneath. Now you can add some color and some shadows and highlights to make your seahorse really come to life. Up next, we're drawing a super cute jellyfish. Click on the video on your screen and I'll see you over there. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video.